What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today. It is the 10th day of December, and here we are sitting at about $91.8 thousand with 8 hours and 16 minutes left in this day. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, my friends. Here we are. Before we get into short-term stuff and kind of decipher the charts here with our indicators, I just want to make it clear that the game plan from here is that Bitcoin will slowly, methodically work its way up to this area here. And I say slowly, methodically. We've been pretty slow and methodical up until this point already. We could at any moment just see a nice big green day that takes us up here. We could get a nice breakout day. But regardless of how it looks, whether we keep chopping our way up here, we make one fell swoop move up here, regardless of how it looks, I think the next move, quote unquote, that we're in the process of right now will take us up to this 99 to 101K area. And I'd like to actually say 100, maybe even 102K. Because that daily low close there is 101.5, so let's just say 102 to 99K. The low close, or that's the low close. The low wick here is at about 99K, so 99K give or take, 102K give or take. Something right in that area. Makes a lot of sense to me, but again, I do expect that we'll find resistance there. Now, I shouldn't say a lot of people, but I've had a couple of people in the YouTube comments, literally two, who've brought up this bear flag, and I'd give you shout-outs if I wrote your names down. I'm sorry I didn't write your names down, but this bear flag here, it is possible that this is a bear flag. Yes, I mean, it looks like a bear flag, doesn't it? And as far as where does the bear flag start, that's the question here, because does it start over here? Does it start way back here? Does it start right here? How I like to do bear flags is I kind of get the gist of the move. This might be a good measurement here, or something like this. I don't know if this would be counted as part of the bear flag. So if it were to be a bear flag, again, I would say debatably there are two ways to measure it. This would be the most bearish way, and then this would be the more conservative method. If this was a bear flag, and let's just pretend we were to break out of it from the downside, and that this was the top, then that would give us, a range of something between about 71.8K to 66K, something like that, and that effectively would take us below these lows from back in April, breaking our higher low, higher high structure. So if this is a bear flag and we break, that would be pretty catastrophic to the bullish argument that we're still in a bull market. But we have to break first. And then on top of that, a break of this trend line isn't necessarily condemning us down to this area, right? It just depends on the bear flag. And then on top of that, we're assuming that this is the high. If I'm correct in assuming that we do move up to this area, this bear flag then, and I'm just going to put it kind of right in the middle instead of at the closing low or at the wicking low, this bear flag measure move then would be, anywhere from about 75K to about 70K, which technically possibly would not take us to a lower low even if this was a bear flag. So it's just kind of hard. It's hard to determine. Again, the main difficulty here is that I don't know if this is a bear flag. Do we measure it from here? I feel like I would measure it from here. This is how I would do it, but there's a solid chance that this could all be incorporated in there too. So, and then again, assuming that we do move up to this area, that might be the inevitable move. Now, some of you might be hearing this and thinking, well, that's bad, right? That's very bad if we move down here. Maybe it's bad if we move down here. I mean, in my opinion, that might be the end of it. If this right here is not the end of it, that might be the end of it right there. And wouldn't it be perfect? We'd be going through one of two things, and it'll probably forever be debated. Either that this was a mini bear market, a very mini one, or very likely at that point, because from a high to a low, and we're pretending here. I want to be very clear, in case I'm not clear, because I know I have a way of not being clear sometimes. I'm not expecting this. I don't expect that we're going down here. I'm just entertaining this thought of a bear flag, because people ask me to do that, right, to entertain the thought, so we're entertaining the thought. If we were to drop down to this area, that's a 40% to a 45% drop. Well, guess what? We've seen that kind of drop in every single bull market that Bitcoin's at, every single bull market. And wouldn't it be crazy? This is what I mean by it's the end of it. The debate would be that we were either in a mini bear market or that this was just one hell of a bear trap, because as soon as we get to this level where we take out a low, a macro low in our bull cycle dynamic, if that was where we found our low and then we run off to new all-time highs, that would just be brilliant. People would max capitulate here. We'd get a very voluptuous move up. I don't know. Time will tell. I would expect. All I'm trying to say throughout all this is that if this is a bear flag, I would expect that the top of the flag to be here, and that we'd break down here, and that this would likely be the end of this move. We'd likely find tremendous support down in this area. If this is the top of the move already, and the bear flag is a little bit lower, same kind of thing, just from a lower price. The only thought here, going into this though, as we expand upon this bear flag idea, is that if we were to move up to here, is this a bear flag still, right? Like, are you still in a bear flag, or is that flag, is this flag too big, right? Like, the flag's bigger than the flagpole at that point, right? Imagining that you kind of continue at this trend, this trajectory. Let me put a straight line up there, right? With these lines, higher highs, higher lows, you kind of continue this trend. That flag would be way bigger than this flagpole. It wouldn't be way bigger than this flagpole, but again, it's still pretty big. It would still, imagine that we just keep chopping and we work our way up like this. There's no one big move up. And the thing is, whether we keep chopping or we just get this move up like this, either way, I think that would invalidate this bear flag. Because first off, if you break out of the flag to the upside, we get a nice move up to about 101K, 100K like this. We just do a straight skyrocket move up there. Okay, well, we invalidate the bear flag that way. I would also think that if we continue to chop our way up there and we just maintain this trajectory, because of how large the flag would be, we would likely no longer be in a bear flag as well. So the probability is probably best that this is a bear flag from this point here. Any more growing or consistent growing like this, especially a break of this top trend line, would invalidate the bear flag. And we'll look for invalidations. You know, I've had a theory, even without this bear flag here, we were talking so much about bear flags, but even without the bear flag here, I've had this theory for most of this trend, probably since about the first of this month, actually. My theory is this. Hold on, let me fix the things here real quick. So my theory is this. However we work our way up there, whatever happens, however it goes, we're going to work our way up to this point, okay? Okay, that's my thought. Something at least here, if not higher. Whatever it looks like, however we get there, I think that's where we're going to go before we find resistance. My theory is that we will find resistance in this area, and then after that, we will break this trend line. Now, depending on how this all works out, it might look like we're breaking out of a bear flag, but I don't think we will, because again, just assuming that we move up this far, that's a very large flag. Like, your flag at that point would be just as big as your flagpole, even bigger than your flagpole, depending on how we move up there. And then again, if we get a straight move up that breaks this, then we're invalidating the bear flag in itself. So I don't think that's going to work out, but I do still imagine that we will break this lower trend line. The only thing is, if we break this trend line before going up here, there's really then some merit to this idea that this is a bear flag. So it's very important that we don't break this trend line now. However, later it will be less important, and I also believe that later we will break this trend line. We will likely break above 100K. If not, we'll get very, very close to 100K by the end of December, probably sometime right before Christmas. And then Christmas week, where everyone's expecting a Santa rally and a rally into the end of the month, the end of the year, I would actually expect the opposite. I think we're going to come down. So I think that it's the 10th today. I think that over the next week, we're not even doing TA really at this point, right? This whole video really has just been like me doing a story, trying to paint a picture, a path of what I imagine Bitcoin's going to do. And I'm very convinced of this path, by the way. I'm very convinced that we are going to move up here, that we are going to find resistance. And like a prophet, I'm telling you the future, we're going to break this trend line. Whatever trend line we form right here, this is the way that it looks now. Maybe the way that we move up, maybe the trend line will look more like this. However it looks, whenever it comes to it, mark my words, there will be a point at the end of this month that I believe we will break through this support line here. And at that point, people are going to say, oh, that confirms it. This was the lower high. Bear market's on. That was the bull trap. And now we've broken this. This solidifies that we're in the bear market. Right then, at that max capitulative moment where we likely find support at prior resistance here, at that moment, that's probably where we will buy back in, and we will continue to rally there, right? When I say buy back in, I shouldn't say me. I haven't sold any cryptos. I'm fully in crypto right now. I just mean if you're doing any trades, you know, this might be a good time to sell Bitcoin or other cryptos, and then you would buy back in here. What I'm trying to say, the thought that I'm trying to promote there is that oftentimes when you break these trend lines, that's the moment that you should buy. That's all I mean whenever I say buy back. It's like this here. Let's just see. I don't know. Maybe would this work? Let's just see. Let's take this trend line. This might not work. This might bite me in the butt here. But yeah, like this trend line here. When was the best time to buy? Was it at the trend line? No, it was below the trend line. And debatably, I mean, if you waited, if you bought right below the trend line, that would have not been fun immediately. But the best time to buy, again, wasn't at the trend line. It was actually below the trend line. And that's my main point. And I theorize it'll be the same thing there. Which is also kind of why I'm assuming that we'll break out of this to the upside. Why I'm assuming we could get some chop. We could chop our way up there and maybe consistently maintain our path in this channel, sure. But I'm kind of anticipating that we'll break this channel to the upside. Doing the same thing that I just said for the bears, but for the bulls, we are going to get people excited. Oh, we broke out. We broke out of the trend. We invalidated the bear flag. This means the bull market's in. And we've just got a lower high. People get max euphoric at the worst point in time, and that'll be the time to sell is right when you break this trend line. That's my theory. Let's get into the short-term stuff. I've done a lot of talking. Let's do the 1 hour stuff, and then we'll zoom out from there. But that's where my head's at, right? In a kind of a nutshell. I'm not looking at this as a bear flag. Though, to be completely fair, right now, it looks pretty perfect. It actually looks pretty perfect as a bear flag, and it's important to keep that in mind. Right now, I would be stressed if we broke this trend line to the downside. After getting up here, I would not be stressed, okay? I hope it's very clear. So, like, if we broke out of it now, and after watching all that, you're like, oh, that's okay. C-Zar said as soon as we go below here, that's where we buy. Maybe. I hope that works out. But in this instance, I would actually be bearish. Where if we work our way up here, I would think if we break that same trend line, at that point, I would not be bearish. I'd be very bullish. 1 hour time frame now, zooming way in here. We are getting some volume, very Bart-like behavior, very Bart-like behavior. I think it's funny that we literally pumped on that 15th hour there. Here we are on our 15th hour now. A lot of, if you go back in time and you look on the 1 hour time frame, a lot of these big moves, they happen around that 14th to 16th hour of the day. Like to the downside, to the upside. Not always, but typically. I mean, look at this right here. That was the 15th hour. Look at this right here. This was the 15th hour. The low was on the 14th hour. Look at this dump right here. This was on the 13th hour that you started to dump. What about this pump over here? This pump was on the 15th or the 14th hours when you really started to pump. This dump happened here. This is on the 23rd hour, so not quite the same. But you found your low on the 15th hour. And then here, you start to break out at the 16th hour. And then here, you start to break out at the 15th hour. You see what I'm talking about? Like here, this massive dump right here was on the 16th hour. It's for some reason, it's not for some reason, it's because there's a coordinated effort. There's clearly a mass amount of selling and buying that consistently happens on these days at these times from a individual or likely a group of individuals or an entity of sorts. So it's clearly manipulated behavior, right? It's consistent manipulation. The price movements are only happening at one specific time of every day, and it happens to be revolvent around or very near to within an hour of the U.S. stock market opening. I have zero doubt that there's institutional involvement, whether it's traditional money institutional involvement or crypto institutions involvement in pushing this price around. There's zero doubt in my mind that anything that we've experienced really since October 10th is anything but manipulation, but especially, I mean really especially since November 21st, we've been in some serious chop. And the reason why we're in chop is because we have a high amount of emotions. And you hear that and you might think instinctively, oh, so people are just emotional, they're just FOMOing the top and then buying the bottom or selling the lows, right? And that's true. But whenever I say that the emotions are high, that also means that manipulation's high. Because when emotions are high, whenever we're in high levels of fear and the market's irrational, market makers have their way with you. They know exactly where to go to clear your stop losses out, make you bullish. And as soon as you break out, boom, you're max bullish. And then here we break down, oh no, we're below these lows, but overall it's a higher low still. People get short-sighted and short-minded. Oh, as soon as we take out this high, we must be going higher. And then boom, that's the low. Same thing over here. It's as soon as we took out this high, as soon as we take out people's stop losses. I mean, it's just very obvious that this market right now is being manipulated. But slowly manipulated to the upside, right? That's the thought there. I would imagine that when we break this range, it'll probably come with a solid break, whether it's up or down. But 1 hour time frame here, looking at the RSI, we're bouncing off the 40. I mean, overall, I like the RSI. I think it's got a nice posture to it. We've got these higher lows here. You are slipping a little bit here, but I think you're okay. I really think you're okay. I think the 1 hour RSI does look good because, again, you've gotten overbought consistently. You haven't been oversold, and you're still finding higher lows. and you're getting overbought, but you're not getting oversold. So you're actually right at a point where you would expect to bounce. So this is good on the 1 hour RSI. Stochastics look good as well. Getting oversold, coming back out. You're crossing. Both oscillators are crossing out of the oversold zone right now. That's great. We probably, from here, we're at 92K. We probably continue to pump for the rest of the day. I don't want to do it. Okay, let's just do it real quick. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on, guys. Let me do something real quick. Let's go to crypto. Because Polymarket, there's a little game you can play here with Polymarket, you guys. If it loads, if it participates. Bitcoin, so it's December 10th right now. I think that this day is already closed because it says it closes by 12 p.m., but I think it's 12 p.m. Eastern, which should then be, I guess, in an hour from now, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 1 hour, so 1 hour left. The thought here is that we will not be above 94K within the next hour. Probably right, but I do assume that we'll continue to move higher. So my thoughts here are we're right at 92K. This here says 92K is 55% chance. If you clicked yes on that, and let's just say you threw $100 down, you'll make $75, $72 right now. You know, something like that. Because the statistical probability of closing in the next hour above 92K is iffy, because we're right at 92K now. But I'm here to tell you, with this 1 hour RSI looking the way that it does, and the stochastics looking the way that they do, I have zero doubt that this next hour will close above 92K, that we will likely continue to move higher. I mean, you look at this here, there's some volume down here, above average volume. You're actually building volume directly at your lows, not progressing to your lows, but at your lows you've got a lot of volume. You had a near bullish engulfing candle here, a little bit of a tweezer bottom there, and you're finding support at prior resistance. I think this hour, maybe in this 59-minute period, you come back below 92K, but then you come back above it. If you were looking to make a play off of this, just imagine you invested in Bitcoin and this hour closes here. Well, you could make 0.26%, or you could, put it in here and then you'd make 80%. Right? Does that make sense? Not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but Polymarket, there's some, and then you don't even have to necessarily play it exactly like that, right? Like if you're looking at this here, it's the start of a new hour. We're above 92K. I might wait because we are expecting it to go up. I might wait for the price to pull back a little bit where we break back below 92K, and then you put the hammer on with this thing, and the odds will be better. You'll probably make over 100. But again, this is just all theoretical, not financial advice, not a financial advisor. It's basically the same thing as leverage trading. So treat it like leverage trading. Don't bet your portfolio or anything like that. But if anybody's trying to make bets or make some extra cash or have fun with the markets in a different way, Polymarket's a really good way to do that. I don't normally promote other things, but I think that this is worth promoting because there's an opportunity there. I actually have a theory about Polymarket and prediction markets. I really think that there are going to be a class of gamblers, of investors, of strategists who make a killing on prediction markets over the next 2 to 3 years. But after some time, and probably not much time at all, the markets are going to become more rational, more they're going to learn. Right now, this market, these prediction markets, it's largely degenerates. So it's irrational behavior, and if you know what you're doing, I think you can make a lot of money in these markets if you know what you're doing. But the markets will become more rational, and then there'll also be regulations and stuff. We're kind of in a free market zone with this stuff. So I think there's money to be made. I think it's an opportunity now, and I think it'll be more difficult to use these markets to make money in the near future. But get it while it's hot now, if you hear what I'm saying. Anyways, let's move on, man. Let's move on. It's not a paid affiliation. I don't have an affiliate link. I don't care about any of that shit. It's not about that. I just, if people are looking for other avenues to make money or even have fun, I'm a gambler at heart. Stuff like this is fun. It's almost like a sports bet. Hey, I believe that Bitcoin will close above 92K in the next hour. I would take that bet. Look, and here we are, right below 92K, and look at that the odds went up right there. I actually need to sign on to Polymarket and make that bet because I really think, and $100, maybe if you don't have $100, $10, whatever, $200, $2,000, whatever, I'm just saying. I wouldn't doubt, I'm calling it right now, I would not doubt that this 16th hour closes above 92K. Looking at the 4-hour time frame here, man, I'm spending a lot of time on this video. The RSI here does look productive as well. 4 hours, 3 hours, 56 minutes left in it, so I think that we'll continue to move up as well. Stochastics are right at a point to bounce, and the MACD is also right at a point to bounce. Everything suggesting that we move higher. I thoroughly believe that in the next 8 hours, by the end of this day, we will probably close the day. We might even close above 93K. We might have a higher daily high close here. I think what a lot of people are assuming is probably not what's going to happen, right? What people are assuming is not what's going to happen. So here on this move, everybody was assuming that we moved down here to this trend line, but we didn't go there, right? We found resistance. It was clear as day. We made the move down. We're finding resistance now. I think a lot of people are anticipating that we'll move back to this level here or lower. And because of that anticipation to the downside, because it's so easy, we're going to move up. We're going to throw people off. And I really do think that over the coming days here, it is Wednesday. I think that over the coming days, by the end of this week, we should see something around $101,000 to $99,000. But I don't have anything else. I'm rambling. I'm going on and on. I could keep going on and on, but everything looks good. I think that we're going to continue to build. Bullish momentum's building on the MACD. I mean, it all makes sense that we'd continue to go higher. I doubt that we close here or lower. I very much expect today to close green. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.